right, let's bring in our first guest tonight, Adam Creighton, Washington correspondent for the Australian newspaper. Adam, thanks so much for coming on the program. Now, earlier today, Trump held his first rally in New York in 8 years. He was up in the Bronx, a neighborhood that is 64% Hispanic, 31% black, and he had a very large crowd out there showing us how much of the non-white working class vote he has a chance at getting. Adam, how'd he go?
Well, look, I think it went very well. I mean, there were clearly thousands of people there, which is certainly a lot more than the dozens or at most 100 people that Joe Biden gets at his events. Let's be fair. So, look, I think it's a really good snapshot of where the campaign is right now. I mean, I think the Trump team is very, very confident. You know, so confident that they're willing to go into South Bronx, which, as you say, has been a Democrat stronghold for a very long time. Indeed, I think the last time a Republican presidential candidate went there was 1980 with Ronald Reagan. So Trump is very confident, and look, the 2020 results, Democrats won South Bronx by 84%. That was the vote, 84% for the Democrats. So it's a big call, but there was certainly a lot of enthusiasm there. And look, if you just think of the reverse, imagine Joe Biden now going to Alabama or Missouri. I mean, that's just unthinkable, and I think that just shows you the respective levels of confidence in the two campaigns.
Well, I mean, Adam, you and I have both covered a lot of campaigns over the years, watched these things, studied these things. And I'm thinking about how in 2016, you know, Donald Trump won simply because he got out in front of so many more people than Hillary Clinton. And now with the Biden campaign, their strategy is let's just keep him as limited and under wraps as possible because he's going to make a mistake somewhere and it's going to be really embarrassing. Is this just the simple ability that he has to go and speak to people and get out in front of people and energize his voters? Is this a key advantage he has going into November?
Well, certainly, I think the court cases have helped Trump. I mean, you just have to look at the betting markets and the polls over the last 6 months or so. I mean, every new indictment, every new hearing, I mean, his support goes up. So if it was a strategy to keep him under wraps and to prevent him campaigning, it's clearly not worked yet. But the court case itself is going to wrap up probably next week. And assuming that there's no appeal, if he gets off or it's a hung jury, then he's free to campaign. So it won't have worked at all. I mean, I think, you know, if you look at one interesting stat that I noticed just recently is the average of the 8 political betting markets, which is tracked by Real Clear Politics. Trump's chance of winning in November has just gone above 50% for the first time. So that's quite an interesting change, right? So I think the odds are really firmly right now are on a Trump victory. And just back to South Bronx briefly, I mean, the support amongst black and Hispanic voters from 2020 to now for Trump has just increased dramatically. I mean, I think something like 12% of blacks in America voted for Republicans in 2020 and now support for most polls. Most polls are saying it's about 25% now, which is a massive increase. And if that is sustained in November, then it's almost certain Trump will win.
Yeah, and that even brings up the idea, the possibility even, that he could take New York State, which I don't think the Republicans have taken since Reagan's massive victory in 1984 against, here's a name from the past, Walter Mondale.